All right, buckle up, because today we're taking a deep dive into some seriously fascinating stuff, like the soul, past lives, and that whole in-between journey.
Oh yeah, we're going deep.
We're talking wisdom of souls, those life between lives case studies, right? And the law of one.
Exactly. Both of those sources really touch on the non-physical and, how we spiritually evolve, all that.
It's wild. Have you ever just wondered what happens between lives?
Oh, all the time.
Or like what ancient wisdom has to say about, why we're even here?
Like, what's our purpose?
Yeah, so many big questions. Today we're diving right into those mysteries.
It's going to be a wild ride using these two sources together. I mean, you have Wisdom of Souls, right? It's like a window into the world between lives with real stories. And then you have the Law of One, this whole intricate cosmology, spiritual framework. It's a lot.
The law of one. That sounds, well, intense.
Oh, it can be.
What's the core idea there?
Well, the central principle is unity. Like all is one. It's saying everything. Everything in the entire universe, us included, we're all connected, like part of one consciousness.
So if we're all part of this one big, I don't know, consciousness web, how come we don't remember any of it?
Ah, that's where the veil of forgetting comes in. It's the separation between, well, our conscious mind and the unconscious, which includes all those past life memories.
So it's like amnesia for our soul.
In a way, yeah. And it's actually seen as essential for us to spiritually evolve.
But why would we choose to forget something so, I don't know, fundamental? What's the point of the veil?
Well, think of it this way. It allows us to fully experience all those challenges, all the lessons in our physical lives without the baggage of past lives weighing us down.
So we get a fresh start.
Yeah, exactly. And that ultimately leads to growth, to free will and this deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe.
I mean, it makes sense. So how do wanderers fit into all of this? It's wild to think that souls from, other planets or dimensions are actually here on Earth right now helping us evolve.
Right, and there are estimated to be thousands of them living among us. The Law of One actually suggests that they come here with a specific mission to help Earth spiritually evolve. They often choose harder lives to kind of catalyze that growth.
Wow. I bet someone listening right now is thinking, wait, am I a wanderer? Like feeling that pull towards something bigger, feeling different, like they have a unique purpose. Maybe they are. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about what Wisdom of Souls reveals about that space between lives.
Yeah, the book dives into that realm through these super captivating case studies. People undergo past life regressions and actually remember what it was like between incarnations.
What, like meeting their spirit guide?
Beating guides, reconnecting with their soul groups, even planning their next lifetimes. It's amazing.
So it's not just empty space, it's an active and purposeful existence. What kind of insights do we get from these experiences?
Well, one big thing that comes up is personal responsibility. Wisdom of Souls really emphasizes that we are co-creators of our lives. We make choices in that between lives state that directly shape what we experience here on Earth.
That's powerful. Like even before we're born, we're shaping our destiny. Can you give us an example from the book?
Absolutely. There's the case of Meta. She struggled with depression, feeling disconnected her whole life. But when she did this between lives regression, she found out her soul actually chose those hard experiences to help her spiritually grow faster.
So it's like those times we feel lost, stuck, disconnected. Those could actually be like powerful signals from our soul, like wake-up call, time to evolve.
Yeah, exactly. And it really makes you think about our struggles differently, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, Meta's story and others in Wisdom of Souls suggest that these challenges, even when they're painful, can really transform us, guide us to a better understanding of ourselves.
That's incredible. So she made those choices, though, with those spiritual guides, right? What exactly do they do in this in-between place?
Wisdom of Souls calls them the Council of Elders.
Okay.
They basically act as mentors, guiding souls through processing past experiences and planning for future ones.
Like cosmotherapists.
In a way, what's interesting is Meta actually described them as being humorous and approachable, not what you'd expect from wise, ancient beings.
That's so cool. It breaks that image of some serious judgmental counsel, right? It sounds like the spiritual realm might be more lighthearted and supportive than we think. But if we're making choices for our next life, what about free will here and now?
It is a bit of a paradox, right? Wisdom of Souls suggests that while we make pre-birth choices that influence us here, we still have free will during our life.
So like setting a general direction for your life,
Yeah,
but then having the freedom to, adjust course along the way?
exactly.
Did Meta ask about that? Like, can we change our soul's plan once we're here?
Oh, she did. And the Council of Elders explained that some things can be changed, but others, especially stuff involving agreements with other souls, that's usually fixed.
So it's a dance between what's predetermined and the choices we make in the moment.
Absolutely. It's not a rigid script. And Wisdom of Souls has another great example of this with Bjork.
Ooh, tell me about York.
So Bjork carried this intense guilt, and he would self-sabotage throughout his life. During his regression, he found out he actually chose to end his life early in a past life. He thought that would free him from these limitations he felt.
That's a hard decision to make.
It is.
What made him do that?
Well, it turns out his soul group was evolving faster than him. He wanted to catch up. He believed choosing this difficult experience would help him grow spiritually and reunite with them.
So even choices that seem negative, even self-destructive, can come from a deeper place. A yearning for growth, for connection. Makes you think about the reasons behind our actions, especially the painful ones.
It really does, and that's what Wisdom of Souls invites us to do, to look beyond the surface, to consider the deeper meaning behind our choices, especially the ones that hurt.
It's like peeling back the layers of why we do what we do. Do you think any emotion, like, say, jealousy, could be connected to past lives?
Absolutely. Wisdom of Soul has this fascinating case, Augusta. She was incredibly jealous as a child. It all stemmed from a past life where she felt she was unfairly denied something her brother got.
So those deep-seated patterns of jealousy, resentment, could those be rooted in past life experiences, like where we felt a sense of lack or injustice?
Precisely. And by remembering and acknowledging those experiences, we can heal those old wounds. Augusta's case shows that recognizing where her jealousy came from allowed her to find the love she was missing.
Wow. So these past life experiences can really help us understand our emotional challenges today. Do we all need to have a past life regression to access those memories, to heal?
Not necessarily. Wisdom of Souls suggests we can start by just paying attention to the patterns in our lives, to those strong emotional reactions we have.
Okay, that's a good starting point. So much to think about already. We've covered a lot of ground. What do you say we take a pause and come back to explore more of Wisdom of Souls and the Law of One?
I'm in. It's a lot to take in, and there's still so much more to uncover. What stands out to you so far? Any of it resonating with your own experiences? What I find fascinating about both Wisdom of Souls and the Law of One, it's the idea that existence is cyclical. Like, life isn't just this one event.
It's more like a continuous journey with multiple incarnations.
Exactly.
But why Earth? What's so special about this planet that we keep coming back?
Well, according to the Law of One, Earth is at a really crucial point in its evolution.
Okay.
We're moving from third density, which is all about self-awareness, individual identity, to fourth density, that's centered around love, understanding, and being connected to, well, everything.
So it's like a cosmic upgrade for the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about the world today, yeah, it feels like we're in some major shifts. But what does transitioning to fourth density actually mean? How will we experience it?
Imagine a shift in consciousness, like a rising tide.
Okay.
It lifts all boats, right? As more people embrace things like love, compassion, unity, the planet's vibration increases, and that paves the way for that fourth density reality to emerge.
I like that. Gives me hope. Like, every act of kindness matters in this big shift. But the Law of One mentions densities beyond the fourth, too. What are those like?
Each density is like a level of spiritual evolution, awareness. Fifth density is wisdom, deep understanding of the universe. Sixth is unity and compassion. And seventh signifies the completion of the cycle, like returning to the source of creation.
So it's like climbing a cosmic ladder. Each rung is a higher level of consciousness, understanding. But if Earth's going to fourth density, what about those who aren't ready for that?
That's where the harvest comes in.
Oh, the harvest. That sounds a little, I don't know, intense. What does it mean?
The Law of One says at the end of each cycle, there's this separation. Souls go to the density that matches their spiritual level. So those resonating with love, service to others, they'll naturally transition to fourth density and beyond.
Makes sense.
But those still focused on self-service, they'll keep going in third density. Maybe on another planet, though.
So it's not punishment or judgment. It's more about finding the right vibrational frequency.
Right, matching your soul's understanding. It's natural. But the Law of One also mentions these entities from Orion trying to influence the harvest.
Entities from Orion. Are we talking extraterrestrials now? What are they doing?
The Law of One says they represent a different path. Service to self. They want to control, manipulate others to gain power.
They sound like the rivals of the Confederation, the ones focused on service to others. Why are they so interested in Earth, especially now during this transition?
Well, Earth is a big target for them because of this crossroads, this transition to a higher density. They want to sway people towards that service to self mindset, disrupt the planet's evolution.
It sounds like a battle for humanity's soul, but how do they operate? Are they like landing spaceships, taking over?
It's much more subtle. The Law of One suggests it's mostly thought manipulation, deception.
Oh, wow.
They prey on fears, insecurities, that desire for power, for control, and they try to influence our choices.
So it's like a cosmic propaganda campaign to keep us in fear, separated. How do we know the difference between, say, the Confederation's influence, love, and unity, and the Orion tube, control and division?
Pay attention to how you feel, the Law of One says. With the Confederation, you'll feel love, hope, inspiration. Orion influences fear, anxiety, feeling powerless.
So it's about tuning into our intuition, feeling whether something's uplifting or draining. But if these Orion entities are trying to manipulate us, doesn't that go against free will, which the Law of One talks about a lot?
They are bound by the same universal laws, just like the Confederation.
Okay.
Influence, yes. Temptation, sure. But they can't make us do anything against our will.
So it's a cosmic chess game, both sides making moves, but ultimately we decide. Choose fear and control or love and unity.
It
The Law of One gets pretty complex. I like that Wisdom of Souls is more grounded. Does it say anything about how these cosmic forces affect our everyday lives?
It does. It's full of examples of how past lives, agreements we make with our soul group before incarnating, they can influence everything from choices to relationships to even physical health.
So it's not just these big concepts, but seeing how they shape our personal lives, our experiences, interactions with others.
Absolutely. Wisdom of Souls connects those dots between the metaphysical and our own personal journeys, our past, present, and future, all intertwined.
It's less overwhelming that way, but raises so many questions. Like, if we choose challenges before we're born, why would anyone choose poverty, illness, trauma?
Wisdom of Souls actually tackles that head on. It says these challenges, tough as they are, can be huge catalysts for growth.
Like growing through hardship.
Yeah, they make us face fears, become resilient, deepen our compassion.
So even negative experiences can be chances to learn, to transform. It's a powerful way to see those tough parts of life.
Right. Wisdom of Souls is all about finding those hidden gifts, even in the hardest times. It's about recognizing growth comes through facing adversity. But it does make you wonder, if our souls are always evolving, do we ever stop incarnating? Like, is there a cosmic graduation?
I love that analogy, cosmic graduation.
The Law of One says that once a soul reaches a certain level, completes its cycle in a density, it can choose to move to the next level.
So finish one chapter, start a new adventure in another realm.
That's it.
But what happens after we graduate from seventh density? What's at the top of that cosmic ladder?
That's the big mystery. Even the Law of One doesn't fully answer it. It describes seventh density as merging with the source, returning to unity.
It's a lot to wrap your head around. If everything becomes one, does that mean there's no real difference between, say, good and evil, service to self versus service to others?
The Law of One gets really nuanced here. Both polarities exist, but the goal is to go beyond duality, seeing the unity within all opposites.
So looking past labels, judgments, and seeing we're all connected, even in conflict.
Exactly. Seeing the light within the darkness, the potential for growth and change in every experience, every choice.
That's profound. It makes you approach life with curiosity, openness, seeing the connection in everything. But what about in the between lives state, those concepts of polarity and free will? Does Wisdom of Souls touch on that?
It does. It suggests that while we have free will here, the between lives state gives us a wider view. We see the bigger picture of our soul's journey, how connected we all are.
Like stepping back from the drama of life and getting a more compassionate perspective.
That's beautiful. It's about accessing a higher wisdom, understanding that we're all in this together.
Wow, I'm getting this sense of awe and wonder about reincarnation and spiritual evolution. It's like a cosmic adventure with challenges, growth, and in the end, going back to unity. I think we need a moment to process all this. Should we pause here and come back to talk about how these ideas apply to our lives right now?
I think that's a great idea. We've gone deep, and it's important to take time to digest all this. How's it resonating with you? What questions are popping up for you as we navigate these amazing realms of consciousness?
All right, so we've talked about the soul's journey, different realities, but how does this all apply to us, here and now? What can we take from Wisdom of Souls and the Law of One for our everyday lives?
Well, both sources really emphasize the power of choice, like recognizing we're spiritual beings having this human experience. That gives us power.
To make choices aligned with our soul.
Exactly.
So taking ownership. We're not just, victims of circumstance. We're actively participating in our own evolution. Does that mean we have more control than we realize?
Absolutely. Every thought, every action, every interaction, it all creates ripples. Not just for us, but for the collective consciousness, too.
That's both humbling and, wow, empowering.
It is.
We have to choose wisely. Our choices matter. But that also means we can make a difference in the world.
Exactly. The Law of One says that when we raise our own vibration through love, kindness, service to others, we help shift the world towards harmony, compassion.
So it's not just about our personal growth, but radiating that outward, creating ripples that touch everyone. But let's be real, we live in a world with conflict, suffering, injustice. How does love and unity apply then? It's hard to, I don't know, send love to someone who's causing harm.
That's where the Law of One talks about compassion, understanding. Those acting negatively, they're often coming from a place of fear, pain, or just not knowing any better.
So instead of negativity back, we try to understand why. Recognize everyone's on their own path, even if we don't agree with their choices.
Exactly. The Law of One challenges us to be compassionate even to those we see as enemies, to recognize their worth as spiritual beings, even if we condemn their actions.
That's hard, especially when forgiveness feels impossible. It's easier to talk about love and unity than to actually live it in tough situations.
You're right, it's not easy. That's why both sources, Wisdom of Souls and the Law of One, they stress inner work.
What does that mean?
Becoming self-aware, seeing our own shadows, practicing forgiveness for ourselves and others.
So it starts within, becoming more conscious of our thoughts, emotions, motivations, so we can extend that to others.
It's a journey of growth and evolution for all of us.
It makes me think about all the different spiritual practices out there. Does the Law of One say which path is best for spiritual growth?
Actually, it emphasizes that many paths lead to the same place.
Okay.
The key is finding what resonates with your soul and practicing it sincerely with dedication.
So not rigid rules or dogmas, but what connects us to our truth, expressing our spirituality authentically.
Exactly. Spirituality is personal. No one size fits all. Find what works for you.
Wow, we've covered so much. Hard to believe this is the end of our deep dive. Is there one takeaway, one core message you'd want listeners to remember?
I think it's this. We're spiritual beings having a human experience, and we can choose love, growth, and evolution in every single moment.
That's a beautiful reminder. Life can be tough, confusing, but we're not alone. We're part of something bigger, and we can create a more loving world.
What would you ask your higher self about your soul's journey?
That was an incredible deep dive. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired. Maybe it's time to revisit Wisdom of Souls or dive deeper into the Law of One. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep shining your light.